Hello, Squirrel Tribe. So yesterday was day 3 of the DNC in Chicago, the Democratic National Convention in Chicago. Today will be the day 4, the very last day of the DNC. And each day it seems to have become more and more of a circus than something that would help you decide if this is a person worth voting for the presidency of the United States. So yesterday, the keynote speakers would include Bill Clinton, Nancy Pelosi, Oprah Winfrey, Tim Walz, accepting his nomination for vice president. You also had Kenan Thompson. I think there's a third name in there from SNL and Good Burger and what was that show back in the days on Nickelodeon? All that. He was a keynote speaker as well, amongst numerous others, obviously. But yesterday's DNC had a theme. And the theme for yesterday's DNC, let's look at it this way. Day 1 DNC's theme was subdued. I almost want to use the word conservative because that's kind of what it felt like, that they were trying to portray, that they were subdued and they were normal, I think is the right word on day 1. Day 2, though, was all bells and whistles, loud noises, flashing lights, whatever, with musical guests. They had Patti LaBelle, they had Common, they had Lil Jon came out for Georgia. Well, yesterday, DNC day 3, it was more of a gay pride, LGBTQ plus, IA plus, whatever the whole acronym is at this point. It was more for them. Everybody had on rainbow sweatbands on the wrist. There were a lot of couldn't tell what was in the audience kind of people. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to be a complete asshole about it, but when you look at somebody, you go, I have no idea if that's a man or a woman. I don't know if they know if they're a man or a woman. That's what happened last night. And you also had Stevie Wonder came out to speak and perform, bless his heart. But what was very interesting to me at the DNC, Oprah, that's where we're at. Oprah spoke last night at the DNC, and Oprah talked about, you know, dealing with racism and sexism and money issues and whatever else, talking about that's how a lot of people in certain areas of the United States are dealing with sexism and racism and ageism and money issues, and that she herself has been a victim of them. And I'm like, ma'am, you're worth multiple billions of dollars. So I don't really think you can talk about money issues at this point in your life. Just want to put a complete stop on that. But Laura Loomer posted on X, it says, Oprah just endorsed Kamala Harris on stage at the DNC. And so Donald Trump posted the letter that Oprah sent him. Because you might remember back in the day, Donald Trump was on Oprah's show, Oprah Winfrey, the talk show that she had. He was on there and they were besties. But then again, Oprah's besties with whoever benefits her at the time. Like, she loved Donald Trump, then she loved, what's his name? Harvey, whatever, the massive pedophile. She's loved the Obamas and the Clintons and everybody else. So maybe her liking Trump, we're okay with her flipping the script on that and changing her mind, because we don't really want Oprah associated with Donald Trump. But she sent a letter to Donald Trump back in the day. And the last line literally says, "Too bad we're not running for office. What a team." Now, this was back in, it looks like January 11th of 2000 is what it looks like on this letter. And maybe that was before she decided to become whatever it is that she is today, which is a lot of people are not a fan of who Oprah Winfrey is. Back in the very beginning of Oprah Winfrey, having a female Black woman in the talk show airspace was absolutely amazing. People loved her, and it's you get a car, everybody gets a car, check under your seat, there's money there. And she was all for the people, right? And then the money and the people started getting to her, and she has changed significantly from the beginning of Oprah to what she is now. Right now, if somebody said, would you like to meet Oprah Winfrey? Nah, I'm good. I'll just stay here and stare at a wall. It's more enjoyable to me, because at least the wall won't blow smoke up my ass and lie to me about who they are and what they believe in. So I have no interest in Oprah Winfrey personally. But she did write this letter to Donald Trump. She wanted to be his running mate in 2000. This is after she interviewed him numerous times on her show, but this is after she interviewed him and asked him about being a president. And he said that, you know, the country, he would only run for president if the country was in such bad shape that he needed to run for president, because they needed somebody to step in and set them back on the right course. Basically, I'm paraphrasing literally everything right there, but that is the gist of what Donald Trump said. And so in 2000, Oprah Winfrey says, too bad we're not running for office. What a team. And this is the letter that she sent him from January 11th, 2000. And of course, for some reason, she writes like a doctor. It's very hard to read what she's written, but it sounds like, hopefully I don't get them all wrong here. Donald, I received the book excerpt. I have to tell you, your comments made me a little weepy. It's one thing to try and live a life of, I don't know what this word is supposed to be. I don't know what the word is supposed to be. And then she says, still another to have people like yourself notice. Integrity, that's the word. It's one thing to try and live a life of integrity. Still another to have people like you notice. Thank you, Oprah. Too bad we're not running for office. What a team. And back in 2000 may have been the last time that Oprah Winfrey actually had any integrity. I can guarantee you right now, Donald Trump would not have written anything about her in a book or sent her excerpts from a book or anything else, because she no longer has integrity. She sold it to the highest paying Democrat, and she went to the dark side. But it's interesting that at one point, just like we talked about with The View, Barbara Walters liked Donald Trump. And Barbara Walters was a pioneer for many women, especially with what she did, the way she was able to get these interviews, the way she spoke to people, the way she pushed on hard topics. A lot of people loved Barbara Walters. So you had her on The View with Whoopi Goldberg and Joey Behar. And in the beginning, they loved Donald Trump as well. Then Barbara Walters left, and it's down to Whoopi and Joy and whoever else was on the cast with them, and whoever started paying their paychecks, they decided to flip the script, and now they are massive Donald Trump haters, even though you literally can pull up where they were kissing his ass left and right, and now they're completely different. They like people until something more lucrative, I'm not even gonna say better, comes along to make them change their mind. And unfortunately, it feels like that's happening with a lot of people right now. They are jumping on this Kamala train, which, no pun intended, but Willie Brown, Montel, there's probably been a couple choo-choos in Kamala's past. But people are jumping on the Kamala train now because they're being misguided. They're being blindsided, not blindsided. That's not the right word either. They're being railroaded again into thinking that Kamala Harris has some sort of quality about her that makes her presidential, that makes her worthy of the presidency. And after watching the DNC day 1, day 2, and day 3, still nothing has been said on any of these days to support why Kamala Harris should be president. Nothing to support why she should be president, except for the one thing that they are pushing, that they don't want Donald Trump. That is literally the only thing that has been pushed at the DNC the entire time about why anybody should vote for Kamala Harris. Not because she's good for the nation, not because she's good for the people, not because she's good for our economy, for our borders, for literally anything, just that she's not Donald Trump. That is all they have to stand on right now. Now, the rest of this here that I have for you, the blatant lies, I just want y'all to hear this. The blatant lies this man told. He said, hold on, I've got my own notes here. It says the blatant lies this man told are, I don't know what I typed. I was so quick with my typing. Basically, it shows that how delusional these people are. Let me bring this up. I don't know what I typed here. I was mid-thought and it went haywire on me. Let me show you this. So this is Charlie Kirk posted this yesterday. So there's this guy named Sheriff Javier Salazar from Texas, and he got up on the DNC stage last night and he lied. He blatantly lied to the people. He said it like he believed it in hopes that they would believe it. But it is a blatant lie. And I will show you the proof of this blatant lie, because we come with receipts here on Squirrel Tribe. If I'm going to tell you something is a lie, I'm going to prove to you why that is so. So I'm going to read you what he said, and then I'm going to let you listen to him lie. He says, when Donald Trump comes down to Texas, please remember that part though. When Donald Trump comes down to Texas, stands next to officers in uniform just like mine, he's not there to help us. Now, Kamala, on the other hand, has been fighting border crime for years. Borders are, remember? We call that fooling around and finding out. What he means is FAFO, fuck around and find out. It's a term that the Republicans use, and he tried to G-rate it down for the Democrats, and it does not work. There is no fooling around and finding out. It's fuck around, find out. That's how it works, FAFO. Does anyone actually believe this garbage? This is what Charlie Kirk said. This is the exact opposite of the truth, which is the absolute truth. It is the exact opposite. He says, Donald Trump comes down to Texas. You know who did not go to Texas, who did not go to the border? Kamala Harris, the one person, the vice president of the United States, who was tasked with keeping the border secure. And he tries to say Kamala, on the other hand, has been fighting border crime for years. Where? Where has she fought border crime? Show me one time, one instance, one location where the fight has occurred. Donald Trump has gone to the border numerous times. Kamala Harris, big fat zero. I want you to hear him. And then again, I'm going to show you the receipts on why he is full of shit.
When Donald Trump comes down to
Hit
Texas,
myself with the computer.
stands next to officers in uniforms just like mine. He's not there to help us. Don't think that. Not for a second. He is a self-serving man.
Why would he be there? Exactly why would he be there if he's not there to help? How does that serve him?
Just like when he killed the border bill. He just made our jobs harder. Now, Kamala, on the other hand, has been fighting border crime for years.
All right.
She's gone down to Mexico and worked to stop the traffickers. And when the traffickers didn't stop, she put them in jail.
Where?
Down in my neck of the woods, we call that fooling around and finding out.
What a moron. Look, he says that she's been down there and she has helped and she's put people in jail and whatever else, right? That's what he says about Kamala Harris. Let me, as a quick reminder, let me bring this to your attention because for some reason, people seem to have forgotten exactly what Kamala Harris has or has not done. So I will just hit play and you can hear for yourself exactly what has or has not occurred.
We are going to the border. We've been to the border. So this whole thing about the border, we've been to the border. We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe. And we are going to the...
We generally includes the person that's speaking, right? But it doesn't here. Kamala Harris never went to the border, just like she's never been to Europe. What a disgraceful piece of shit. Like, how are you going to be a sarcastic, snarky bitch to this man when you're sitting there telling him that, you know, we've been to the border, but you have not been to the border? The one job, literally the one job that President Biden gave you was to be the border czar. And yes, that is what you were labeled by the people in Congress, by everybody else. It is on written documents that have been filed with the House and the Senate as border czar. And you did not do anything at the border. You did nothing to stop what was happening at the border. So again, lies, all lies. And these are all lies that were being told at the DNC last night. Now, more lies from day 3 of the DNC because it is important to point these things out. People may be tired of hearing about what's going on. They may be tired of hearing me pointing out the lies of what are being told to the American people by the Democrat side. But here's the thing. How are you going to know unless somebody tells you? People, unfortunately, are too eager to believe everything they're told, and they're not willing to turn around and find out if it's true or not. You would much rather believe that people are telling you the truth because you want to see the good in people. The unfortunate side is we have proof here that the good in people is slowly starting to fade away, especially from the people that are taking the Democrat stage right now at the DNC. They are blatantly lying to people, but they're doing it in such a way that they've got bells and whistles and lights and flags and signs, no American flags, but flags waving around trying to distract you from the fact that the words coming out of their mouth are absolute and utter garbage. So the DNC just had Capitol Police Officer Aquilino Ganel speak where he claimed he almost died on January 6th. There's only one problem. Ganel did not almost die on J6 is what they're calling it. He suffered no apparent physical injuries, which he lied about to Congress. This video shows you exactly what we're talking about. So I want to play this for you. If I can get this up here, let's bring this back and put a pause so you guys can hear what exactly.
And I haven't been to Europe.
Wait, stop. Stop talking, Kamala. I hate your voice. It is annoying. All right, here we go.
I asked, why don't you?
I don't know what he said there, but whatever.
On January 6th, I nearly died protecting the Capitol. And I will do it again for our democracy.
We're a republic.
The way to preserve it is to elect Kamala Harris, our first female commander-in-chief. Donald Trump.
All right. So he says he almost died on J6, protecting our country. Now, let me just, there's no volume here, but you can see that the person who is in the bubble is the same man who just said he almost died on J6. Here he is walking around, taking his helmet off, taking everything off, perfectly fine. If there had been some sort of physical altercation that involved him, would this be the case? This is at the end of everything. This is as they've left everywhere and everything is perfectly fine. And this is him. Not almost died. The exaggeration of things is what is mind-boggling to me. I almost died on J6. No, you didn't. You left the area. You're perfectly fine. There is video proof that you're perfectly fine. You lied to Congress about exactly what happened with you and January 6th. And now you're standing on the stage in Chicago lying to the people that is being broadcast around the entire country, around the entire world, lying to the people, thinking that people will not do their own research to find out if the things you are saying are true or false. Because unfortunately, a lot of people will not. They will take everything they are being force-fed and eat it all up and go about their day and make uninformed decisions on November 5th. And it is my job, it is my place, it is what I want to do to sit here and remind people they are lying. Was January 6th awful? Of course it was. I don't think anybody thinks it wasn't awful. The way they stormed the Capitol, the people that did get hurt, there were 9 people who died on January 6th. I think it's absolutely horrific. Now at the DNC last night, they played a lot of footage from January 6th. Let me just, whether you like Donald Trump or not, okay, this has nothing to do with whether you like him or not at the end of the day. It has to do with the way the left is blatantly lying. So they show video from January 6th. They show the crowds. They show the police officers saying, hey, you know, the fences have been broken. We need SWAT. It's a mob. It's whatever. They show the breaking into the Capitol. And then, y'all, then at the DNC, the Democrat National Convention, they put audio to this video and sad music, of course, because you must have sad music to elicit the right kind of feelings from the people in the audience who are watching. They put audio from Donald Trump that had nothing at all to do with January 6th. They laced it in with this video, making it sound like he was saying that he's glad they did what they did. He's glad that they broke in there. He's glad about all these things. And those are not comments that he was making about what happened on January 6th. But the DNC had no problem splicing a bunch of shit together to make it seem like he is the worst person to ever breathe. And that is a problem. Because the people watching that are going to hear that. And if they've never done research on their own, if they're too young, to have ever paid attention to what actually happened on January 6th, they're going to hear that, take it for face value. And that's going to determine how they vote on November 5th. The only way the Democrats will win November 5th is if people believe their lies. And that's the issue. Donald Trump is telling you truths right now. Everything he is out telling you are truths. And people are being brainwashed by the left and their lies instead of by the truths that are being spoken by the right. And it's very scary, in my opinion. It's a very difficult time for a lot of people because you don't want to sit there and bang your head on the wall trying to explain to people why being lied to is not okay, and why accepting and believing the lies is even worse. People don't want to believe that they can be bamboozled, that they can be persuaded. But the left right now is literally being cattle prodded into voting for Kamala. It's what it is. They've got, you know, the dog running around, circling them all up and then poking them in the back, trying to put them in the direction they want them to go. That's the only way I can think to describe it, because that's what I picture. I picture this group of people who could venture off to the right, but they have something there to stop them, to bring them back to the fold over here and prod them into the direction they want them to go. Not the direction they should go. They're leading them to their slaughter is basically what it comes down to. And they don't see it. They don't hear it. They don't care. And that to me makes absolutely no sense. Listen, I have to take a dog to grooming. Oh shit, I gotta go. I'm supposed to be there in 15 minutes. All right, we're gonna have a part 2 of this because I've talked way too long. SquirrelTribe, I love you immensely. There's way more coming. I will be back shortly with the rest of it. I'll see you guys then.